Three samples of SO2 gas, that is carbon, that is a sulfur dioxide gas, were produced first. Now, this were the ways they were produced. They were produced using two methods of production. One, by the reaction of sodium trioxosulfate 6 and conc concentrated hydrochloric acid. That's the first method of production. Then the next, this SO2 gas was produced by heating strongly the mixture of copper, that's copper metal, and conc H2SO4, that's tetraoxosulfate 6 acid. So the analysis of this method of production shows this. Number one, 6.05 gram of SO2 gas contains 3.02 gram of oxygen. Two, 4.2 gram of SO2 gas contains 1.85 gram of oxygen. And three, 3.96 gram of SO2 gas contains 1.98 gram of oxygen. Now here's a question. Do this illustrate the law of constant composition? Now, as you can see right here on the board, we have two major methods of producing SO2 gas. So, for the fact that this two method of production was used, we are given three major results. So, the first SO2 gas that was produced was 6.05 gram. Yeah, we have more mass of SO2 gas. So, by the time this 6.05 gram of SO2 gas was checked, it was discovered that 3.02 gram of oxygen was present. Then the next 4.2 gram of SO2 gas contains 1.85 gram of oxygen. And the last sample, which is 3.96 gram of SO2 gas, contains 1.98 gram of oxygen. So how do we prove that the law of constant composition is being obeyed? Now, what's this law all about? Let's talk about it again. This law states that regardless of the method of production, regardless of either this method of production or this method of production, it doesn't change the fact that SO2 gas will always remain SO2 gas. That is, when you look at SO2 is sulfur dioxide. Sulfur has atomic mass unit of 16. Oxygen has an atomic mass unit of, sulfur is 32, I beg your pardon. Oxygen is 16. So by the time you check the atomic mass units, by the time you compare them, this is 32 plus 16 times 2, 32. So we have 32 gram to 32 gram. So that means sulfur and oxygen, we have a ratio of what? 1 to 1. That's 50-50% for sulfur and oxygen. That's what this law is all about. It means regardless of the method used in producing SO2 gas, it doesn't change the fact that we're just going to have 50% of sulfur and 50% also of oxygen in that very composition. That's what it means. It doesn't change the fact that sulfur is going to be 32, oxygen is 16 times. So we have 2 atoms of oxygen and 1 atom of sulfur. So when you check the masses, you end up having 1:1. That is what this law is all about. So let's see if this law